Hello and welcome back to the channel. Now my lovely wife has just had another lovely daughter, which is this little one here. Hopefully she's going to be good for the duration of this video. But anyway, she needed a new cot for her new nursery. My wife decided on this one from Aldi. So I thought I'd do a little instructional video of how to put it together, because I know some people struggle with flat packs. But this was really easy. I done it. You okay? I done it all by myself. My wife was filming, but she's just had a C-section, so she couldn't really lift much. So I put it together by myself. It would have been easier with two people, but there you go. This one couldn't help, and my wife couldn't help. So I've put it together, and I've done the video. So carry on watching, and hopefully it'll help you out. So this is the box it came in. Now it says caution, very heavy, and it was very heavy. As it says there, it weighed 50 kilograms, so taking her up the stairs by myself would have been a bit of a struggle. So I decided to unpack it here in the hallway and carry each piece up the stairs. Now this probably took longer than putting the actual bed together, but there's all the pieces all laid out, just so I know what I'm looking at when I'm seeing the instructions. So this is the space where the cot's going to be built. I've got lots of space to work. Okay, so there's the instructions and the box of fittings. My first bit of advice is RTFM, read the manual. Okay, look through it, read it, make sure you know what goes where, and it'll help you out when you're actually doing it. Okay, so just lay everything out and check that everything's there, and the only tool that you need is a Phillips screwdriver, and an Allen key comes with it. So the first job is to put these little blocks on the bottom of the legs. Now you need to do these handed, so it's a pair, and there's holes on both sides, so make sure you do them as a pair like I'm doing here. I've set them out side by side, so I'll do them on the outside of each one. Now these little blocks, they're just there to stop the drawer going back too far. They're just drawer stops. They just get tightened down with the Allen key. When you're putting these nuts in, make sure that the slot in the head is lined up with the hole, because the screw comes in from the end through this hole here, and if that slot isn't lined up, then you'll have a nightmare getting the bolt into the nut. So doing it by yourself, this is a bit awkward, so I've had to keep one end on the floor and then do it on a bit of an angle, so it is a bit awkward, but it is achievable by yourself, as I'm demonstrating here, and I'm using my foot, as you can see. Any means possible. So once you've got one in, it makes it a little bit simpler to put the others in, just to the simple fact that the ends of the bed will stay up by itself. So again, just bolts go in with the Allen key, but don't tighten these down fully. You need a little bit of adjustment and wiggle room in the bed, so just leave them a little bit loose. Since the bolts are a bit loose, it's allowed me to pick one of the bed rails up without having to do the other one. I can do them independently of each other. Now again, a little bit awkward by myself, but is achievable. And again, just put the bolts in, but don't tighten them down too much. So when you come to put the sides of the cot on, you need a little bit of play in order to get them actually in between the ends of the bed. Now this is the base for the mattress. Just a load of slats on a nylon webbing. They just simply lay into place, and then it's a strange fixing. It's like a connecting bolt. You get one sleeve, a threaded sleeve, which inserts into that hole under there. And you put the slat over the hole, and then there's a little bolt that screws into the thread. Screws into the thread of the sleeve. Now, I found this a little bit awkward because it was spinning underneath, so I just sort of held it as best I could with my finger while I tightened it down with the screwdriver. And there was 8 of them in total, 4 on each side. So again, with these furniture connecting nuts, make sure that the slots are lined up with the hole. So when the bolts go in, they will go into the threaded hole in them. And make sure they're pushed all the way into the hole, because if they're not, you're going to struggle getting the bolt into the hole. So again, by myself it's a little bit awkward, so I prepared it by getting 2 of the bolts into position but not sticking out, so I could lift the side into place and then push the bolt into the hole. Yeah, it would have been a lot easier with someone else helping me. But there you go. And then just tighten down the 4 bolts. But again, just leave them a little bit loose until it's all assembled. And I just do this side in double time because you already see me do the other side, but it's exactly the same. Put the 4 nuts in, and then I put the 2 bolts in. Just make sure they don't stick out the hole, otherwise you'll have a nightmare getting the side in. And just offer the side in and try and locate the hole with the bolt. Now that I've got all the bolts in, I can go round and tighten up every single one. Okay, so as I've done it then, I'd put the bed slats at the bottom. Now because I've got a newborn and not a toddler, I've actually moved it up from the bottom to the top. If you've got a toddler, you want it at the bottom so they can't escape over the bars, but with a newborn you sort of want the mattress as high as possible, so that's why I've put it up there. So this is the drawer that goes underneath the cot. Now there's 4 little casters just to make it run in and out a little bit easier, and they just go in with a couple of screws. If you like the screwdriver that I'm using, the little ratchet one by Draper, it is available in my Amazon affiliate store, and if you purchase qualifying products through my Amazon affiliate, then the channel gets a small tiny little bit of commission, which does help us out, but it's up to you. It doesn't cost you anything extra, but it does help us out a little bit. And there's a link to the store in the description below. So that's the 4 casters in, and now there's these screws to put into the front and back of the drawer. So these are strange little screws. They're actually called cam dowels, and in the corresponding sides of the drawer there's cams which lock onto these dowels. So I made a mistake here. This one shouldn't have gone here. This is where the handle goes, and everyone makes mistakes, don't they? And I've done it again in the other handle hole, and I didn't realise until I run out of dowels that I'd done it. So this one here shouldn't have gone in. So I think it was here I realised the mistake, so I just took these 2 out. It's no big deal. So I'll put the last one in on the end, and for some reason, like most flat packs, there was 1 left over. Now I did check and double check, and I haven't missed it out from anywhere, so it was just 1 extra in the pack. So these are the handles that came with it. Now they're not the nicest, to be honest, are they? And my wife didn't like them at all, so we had some left over from another project. These nice crystal blingy ones, which is my wife all over. She loves the bling, so that's what we put on. So just a simple little screw from the back, and just screw it on from the front, and then just tighten it up from behind with the Phillips screwdriver. Doesn't have to be overly tight. And the same again on the other side. Now these are the cams. Now, I don't know how closely you can see that, but there's a little tiny arrow on it, on one of the stars. Now that needs to point in the direction of the hole, because that's where the cam dowel will slot into. So you just get 2 on every end of the sides of the drawers, and also this underneath supports. Just make sure all them arrows point in the direction of the hole. So the sides just slot over the cam dowels, and then a half turn with the Phillips screwdriver, and the cam locks onto the cam dowel. That's going nowhere now. Just nip them up. So this middle piece is grooved on both sides, so you need to make sure that this goes in the right way. Again, just tighten down the cams with a half turn and you lock onto the cam dowels. And the same for the underneath supports. They've just got the one cam on them. So the bottoms just slot in, and you want the casters to the outsides of the drawers. Then the front section just slots in. Again, it probably would have been better with two people, but it is achievable by yourself. It's just a bit more fiddly and a bit more time consuming. And just tighten up the remaining cams. And the drawer just simply pushes under the cot. Nice and simple. Some great storage. You get a fair few nappies under there. And then the mattress came with it, and that just slots on top of the mattress support slats. And as you can see, little Millie seems quite impressed with it, and so are we. So first impressions of the cot are good. It's substantial, it's clean, it looks nice. The best feature of it is why my wife chose this one is the big storage drawer at the bottom. You can never have enough storage, especially with young kids. Now the mattress does go in 3 different positions. This is the highest for newborns. As they get older you can drop it a little bit, and then as they get older again you take the bottom portion off and as I was saying, you take the bottom portion off and it turns into a young child's bed. So it's going to grow with them, and it should last a long time.